Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're heading into the hills, specifically to Uttarakhand. It's a place known for, stunning beauty, spirituality. But right now, there's some serious political maneuvering going on beneath that calm surface. It really feels like something out of a political thriller. We're talking about a cabinet reshuffle that's shaping up to be, well, much more than just moving some names around.
Yeah, the stakes feel incredibly high here. This isn't just about filling empty chairs in the government. It really seems to be about the future direction of the state's administration and how the BJP, the ruling party, is setting itself up for the big one, the 2027 assembly elections. Every single move is under the microscope.
Exactly. And what we want to do today is sort of peel back the layers on this. We're going to look at the complex reasons behind this potential change, what it really means for the state, for the people, and importantly, that really delicate balancing act the chief minister has to perform. Keeping the party together while making sure the state actually runs efficiently. It's about understanding these unseen political currents in a really key region. Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack the situation. So, when you think of Uttarakhand, you picture mountains, rivers, maybe pilgrimage sites. It's beautiful. But politically, right now, it's quite charged. The man in the middle is Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. And he's juggling, well, a lot. Internal party stuff, what the public expects, and some pretty serious administrative weight. The pressure's definitely been mounting.
It really has. And, these rumors, the buzz about a cabinet reshuffle, in a place like Uttarakhand, that's seldom just noise. For the BJP, this is a really critical moment. They are absolutely looking ahead to 2027. So every decision, including who gets which ministry, is part of that bigger electoral strategy. We're basically watching them rethink and adjust the political foundations in the state. It's realpolitik in action, practical strategy over pure ideology.
But what really kicked things into high gear, what forced the issue now, was something specific, right? That resignation back in March 2025, Premchand Agarwal, the Finance and Parliamentary Affairs Minister, his departure wasn't a standard procedure. It came directly from that remark he made, didn't it? Salah Pahadi. Those two words just ignited everything. And it really did blow up. I mean, the public reaction was immediate. It was widespread. Protests popped up. Social media went into overdrive naturally. Agarwal apologized, didn't he? Multiple times, I think, even in the assembly. But it just didn't seem to calm things down. It really shows how a single phrase, maybe said in frustration, can hit such a raw nerve, especially with community identity, a powerful reminder of public sentiment.
And what's so interesting is how that single event then rippled outwards, creating a genuine constitutional problem. See, Agarwal leaving meant the cabinet dropped down to only 6 ministers, and the Constitution, specifically Article 164(1)(a), sets rules. For Uttarakhand's 70-member assembly, you need at least 12 ministers, including the CM. It's meant to stop cabinets getting too bloated, but here it meant they were seriously short-staffed. And it wasn't just Agarwal's exit. Remember, there were already 4 empty spots since the 2022 elections. Plus, sadly, former Minister Chandan Ramdas passed away in 2024, another vacancy. So all of that together created this big governance gap, just making it harder for the administration to function effectively, putting a real strain on things.
Wow. And the workload on CM Dhami himself. 39 departments, is that right? 39.
Yep.
Including massive ones like finance, revenue, urban development, transport, power. I mean, just imagine trying to keep tabs on all of that effectively. It's almost impossible for one person. It really highlights how stretched thin they were.
Exactly. It makes the reshuffle not just politically desirable, but administratively essential. You simply can't have effective governance with that kind of overload on one person. Decisions inevitably get delayed, quality suffers. It's just not sustainable. And you saw the urgency when Dhami went to New Delhi recently, right? Meeting senior BJP leaders, he kept quiet about the details, stayed tight-lipped, as they say, but those meetings, they sent a very clear signal. Changes are coming, and the top brass is involved.
Okay, so there's the constitutional pressure, the administrative need. But then there was another factor, wasn't there? From the ground up, the municipal elections. On the surface, it looked good for the BJP, 10 out of 11 mayors. That sounds like a win. But digging deeper, the story wasn't quite so simple. It was described as a wake-up call.
Absolutely a wake-up call. You look past the mayoral wins, and you see some warning signs. Independent candidates did surprisingly well, and even party rebels picked up seats, especially over in the Garhwal region. And what's really telling is that some big-name ministers, Dhan Singh Rawat, Satpal Maharaj, Subhad Unial, they actually saw their preferred candidates lose in their own areas. That tells you something deeper is going on. Maybe the old ways aren't working. Maybe relying on established figures isn't enough anymore. Local voters might be looking for something different.
Right. And that party insider you mentioned basically said the results meant they needed new faces in the cabinet.
Yeah.
to rebuild that public trust. So it's not just about who's loyal, it's about who connects with people, who seems responsive. But like you said, bringing in new people means potentially upsetting the old guard. That's a tricky balancing act in itself. How do you manage that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And we started hearing names floated, like Vinod Chamoli, Muna Singh Chauhan, both experienced three-term legislators. So the thinking seems to be, okay, let's bring in some new energy, but people who also know the ropes, trying to find that mix of freshness and experience, hoping it satisfies enough people and improves the party's image.
And beyond just performance or who's popular, there's this other huge layer of complexity in Uttarakhand.
Right.
Region and caste. It's a diverse state, famously divided between the Garhwal and Kumaon divisions. These aren't just lines on a map. They're distinct identities, cultures, political weights. Getting that balance right in the cabinet is crucial. It's not just capability, it's representation.
Absolutely critical for stability. And right now, it's visibly unbalanced. You've got several ministers, Satpal Maharaj, Dhan Singh Rawat, Subhadra Unyal, all from one area, the Pauri Lok Sabha constituency. All Lok Sabha constituency, that's the area electing a member to the national parliament, the lower house. So if power is concentrated there, big regions like Haridwar, Uttarkashi, Pithoragar, Chamoli, they have no one at the cabinet table. You can see how that breeds resentment locally, makes people feel ignored. The reshuffle is a chance, maybe a necessity to fix that.
And caste dynamics too, right? That always plays a huge role in who gets elected, who holds influence. So the reshuffle is also an opportunity to bring in leaders from different communities, make the cabinet look more like the state's actual population. That's key for electoral success.
Definitely. People often suggest aiming for, say, at least 2 ministers from Garhwal and 2 from Kumaon as a baseline for balance. But again, it's easier said than done. Every new person you bring in potentially displaces someone else. That creates ripples, internal politics. It really is like a complex chess game where every move has consequences for party unity down the line.
So it's really crystallizing now. This isn't just about filling those empty seats or fixing the workload. This is clearly a strategic play, a calculated move with one eye fixed firmly on the 2027 assembly elections. It's about setting the stage.
Precisely. You have to look at the broader context. The main opposition, the Congress, they showed signs of life in those municipal polls. And there's always some level of public dissatisfaction bubbling away, whether it's specific policies or just a general feeling. So for the BJP, sitting back isn't really an option. They need to appear proactive, dynamic, responsive.
And isn't there another leadership position up for grabs too? The state party president. Because Mahendra Bhatt went to the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of parliament. So choosing the next state president and reshuffling the cabinet, those decisions must be linked, shaping the party's leadership team for the future.
They're absolutely intertwined. And that puts CM Dhami in a tough spot again. How do you satisfy the veterans, the loyalists who feel they've earned their place, while also bringing in those fresh faces you need, people who can connect with younger voters, maybe tackle emerging issues differently? It's not just about winning in 2027. It's about making sure the party stays relevant for the long haul. Future-proofing, essentially.
There was even some talk about the speaker, Ritu Kandribhushan, possibly joining the cabinet. That would be interesting. Although analysts seem a bit skeptical about that one, apparently replacing a speaker is procedurally quite complicated. Going back to that massive workload, Dhami was carrying 39 departments. It's not just about him being overworked, as incredible as that is. The real impact, as you said, is on the ground. Delays in decisions, projects potentially stalling. This reshuffle is needed to, well, get the government machinery running smoothly again. Let Dhami focus on the bigger picture, strategy, party stuff, while ministers handle their portfolios effectively, projecting strength and efficiency.
And think about the actual challenges Uttarakhand faces. Infrastructure, especially in remote areas. Disaster management, it's a state prone to landslides, floods. You need a full-strength, capable cabinet to deal with those things effectively and proactively. Delays in those areas can have very real, very serious consequences for people. And stepping back even further, this isn't happening in a vacuum. What happens in Uttarakhand often reflects or is influenced by the broader BJP national strategy. You know, the central leadership, Modi, Amit Shah, they keep a close eye on key states like this. Dhami's trips to Delhi confirm that high-level interest. It's not just a local shuffle, it fits into a national picture. In fact, you hear similar speculation about changes at the union cabinet level sometimes. It suggests this focus on renewal, efficiency, performance assessment is happening across the party structure.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening in? It means Uttarakhand is definitely the state to watch right now. Who actually makes it into the new cabinet? That's the big question. Will they manage that tricky regional and caste balance without causing more internal problems? And crucially, how will all this maneuvering affect the BJP standing as they head towards that 2027 election?
Yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. This reshuffle likely coming soon, maybe around CM Dhami's third anniversary in March 2026. It's pivotal. If it's handled well, it could really cement Dhami's leadership, strengthen the party for the next few years. But any major misstep, that could easily backfire, give the opposition an opening, maybe even destabilize things within the BJP itself. The consequences for 2027 could be significant.
It really is fascinating to see these complex political dynamics playing out against the backdrop of those, well, usually serene hills. Change is definitely in the air.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. As you watch this unfold in Uttarakhand, how do you think leaders anywhere really manage this constant tension? The urgent need for good, efficient government versus the messy realities of party politics, keeping everyone happy and always, always thinking about the next election. It's a dance, isn't it? And right now in Uttarakhand, we're seeing it happen live with really interesting possibilities for the future.